Glamorous, hypnotic, captivating, and always turning heads, Palmier enters the league. Palmier is one of the top models that belongs to the state-of-the-art fashion magazine CosmicBreak Girl. She's been modeling since her childhood with a stoic, yet bit of an attitude professionalism. It has always been her dream to launch a fashion brand that sports a butterfly motif. Hey guys, Epsy here. Today we're going to talk about Palmier. Palmier is a bot of the aerial class, which focuses mostly on her main weapon damage. She carries 4% more resistance towards physical attacks, with her trade-off being 13% less resistance towards flame attacks. Palmier's first EX weapon, Wide Beam Gun, is a ranged attack which deals beam damage. It starts at 6.0 force at C rank, which can end all the way to 10.3 force at S rank. Her second EX weapon, Charge Blaster, is a ranged attack which deals beam damage. It starts at 3.2 force at C rank, which can end all the way to 5.8 force at S rank. Palmier's core, which is a sub-attack, is a sub-target attack type which deals beam damage. It starts at 4.5 force at C rank, which trickles down to 5.6 force at S rank. Just a few quick notes. Her EX weapons cannot be placed on other aerials, but you can place them on other forms of Palmier. Also, Palmier comes with no weapons, which means all of her weapons are built into her. Palmier's shift action, Butterfly Reflect, creates these little butterflies that float around her and starts up a timer which lasts about 9 seconds. When this timer runs out, she will emit a small blast which deals damage and knocks back enemies caught in the explosion. Taking damage while Butterfly Reflect is active will shorten the timer, leading to quicker explosions. I'll be honest, ever since part 1, aerials and air types have always been my favorite, and Palmier was no exception to this. Ever since her release, I've fallen in love with her. She has great weapons, she has a great shift action and whatnot, but the one thing I noticed was there's not a lot of her on the field, and moreover, even when you do see her on the field, she's a little confusing to understand. She doesn't have a lot of range, she's a little slow, but she deals so much damage, and she has this weird way of doing things. So it took me a little while to really understand what Palmier is using for. First, let's talk about her wide beam gun. That's pretty standard. It's just a wide beam gun doubled up and has a little bit faster of a regen, or ammo regen, than other wide beam guns. And her charge blaster, when you hold it down, it deals more damage, and it has pretty decent tracking, but once again, that lack of range gets in the way of things, and sometimes it has a little bit of an awkward tracking, so it's not as great as you'd expect, like Aquila Girl from part 1 or Haruka Langet, etc. Her shift action is very good. It's not as great as Pacifar's Impact Burst, but it's still something that really helps you out when you're in a bit of a bind. Like, you don't know how many times an assault or a panzer tried to hit me, and I would click shift, and automatically, because I took so much damage in that one shot, I knocked them away, and I was able to rebound and put the fight in my favor, or even escape when I needed to. And her sub action, even though it always needs ammo, you could use it as an attack purpose or use it as a defensive purpose, because using it when you don't lock onto anybody causes you to actually break out of lock on it. And if you do lock onto an enemy, it deals AoE damage, which makes it great against towers, even though it doesn't do a lot of damage, or great against jammers who tend to stick around a lot of their teammates. And let's not forget that her sub action is very great against opponents due to the fact that it can simply confuse them. You don't know how many times I've had a Mia come straight at me or a Zero Scepter come straight at me, and I would literally click the sub action before they could hit me, and I would split into two, and they would usually go after the wrong one. And this has even caught me off guard when I'm fighting other Palmier. I can't really stress enough how useful this is and how it can really get you out of a situation or turn the tables on your opponent. And going back to her Charge Blaster, when it's charged up, deals so much damage, and this makes it really useful against towers or tanky opponents like Panthers, especially since it's beam damage. And not only that, but sometimes it can pierce through enemies or even be a multi-hit, which helps you hit multiple enemies in one shot. Her wide beam gun, even though it's straightforward, I tend to find this pretty useful when I run out of Charge Blaster so I can go and finish off an enemy, or allowing my Charge Blaster to regen enough so I can start using it again. But you're probably wondering, well, if she's all this offense, is she supposed to just go and just murder her opponents with all this damage? Or since she's so defensive, is she supposed to keep herself out of harm's way? Well, after playing with her quite a bit and really diving into her as much as I have, what I noticed is it's not that she's neither of those or both of those, but it's more of a culmination of that plus distraction. All of her abilities keep you from being aware of what she's capable of until it actually happens. Like, for example, her shift action. When you use it, your opponent won't really be able to see those butterflies until they go to hit you. And you could even use it as literally a direct counter. There's been many times where Amia was literally right about to hit me, and I would click shift and boom, the blast would happen and it would knock them back. Or her sub action, the fact that she splits into two and can deal damage with that. But it's really your choice if you want to do that. That really throws your opponent off, and this helps you blindside the opponent or have your teammate blindside the opponent and continue on doing what you were doing. With such a unique moveset and all of this utility, it makes it hard not to notice what she's capable of. I mean, she carries the duality of Pacify, but she carries the simple and lightweightness of Primrose. And with that, that makes a very powerful combination to the point where I want to say she's OP. But this is how she wants to feel. This is the attention she wants. When Palmier enters the fight, it's all eyes on her. She's the main attraction because this isn't her battlefield, this is her runway. There are a few classes I recommend Palmier fighting against, and there are a few that I recommend Palmier does not fight against unless she either doesn't have a choice or she can definitely take these opponents down. Classes I recommend Palmier fighting against would be Fortresses and Panzers. When it comes to Fortresses, they may have more range than you, but they do not have the mobility you carry, and most of Palmier's weapons work primarily against Fortresses due to the fact that they have really decent tracking or they just do a lot of damage. Plus, she can wear melee. When it comes to Panzers, they don't have as much range as you, nor do they have the mobility, and you deal a lot of beam damage, especially with her Charge Blaster. When you see these two types, they're pretty much easy kills, just go for it when you see it. Her rival classes would be other aerials and jammers. When it comes to aerials, as you already know, whoever has the upper hand has the upper hand. When it comes to jammers, they carry debuffs which can be a little tricky, and moreover, whenever they're on the battlefield, they tend to stick around others, and this can pose a problem for Palmier. However, she does have a few things that she can use to escape out of harm's way when it comes to this, or get herself out of the situation. Now this leaves the last two classes, the classes I highly recommend not fighting against unless you once again either don't have a choice or you're definitely sure you can take this opponent down. They would be Assaults and Busters. This means Rays, Rikas, Mias, Claremorts, Fionas, Sturbangers, Toy Boxes, and so forth. When it comes to assaults, they tend to be in your face a lot more than you'd like, and even though she has these abilities that can counter them, they can recover from this pretty quickly. And when it comes to busters, they have a lot of range and a lot of tracking. Before you can really get down to them, they're pretty much going to be dealing a lot of damage to you, and keep in mind, Palmier does not carry the range that busters have whatsoever. Cards I would recommend using would be Float Dash, Combat Boost, when you take damage, convert to boost gauge, full charge, and tower buff attack, increased gunning range. Palmier is a great aerial to have in your arsenal, especially if you're in love with them like I am. However, since she's a little slow and she lacks a little bit of range, she's kind of in this awkward state between aerials and fortresses. But don't let this be something that deters you from getting her. She is a great bot, and once you see the damage she can deal or the potential she has, you will never want to take your eyes off her.